Hey everyone, welcome to Thruxton, which rounds 5 and 6 of the Simply Race Porsche Challenge. My name's Dan McCalla, thank you very much for joining us, and we are already underway with our qualifying session side of the for the first of two 18-lap races coming up a little bit later on. We've got Connor Daly getting straight on the pace in his first final lap with a nice big slide coming through Church. This is the fastest track of the season, and there's no doubt that from what we've seen in practice, that Aidan Carter, who has won 2 of the races so far but is not leading the championship, he has been the man to beat in practice, and he very much setting the pace, and we expect he may well do in touring cars later on. I'm very pleased to be joined by John D. Smith. Unfortunately, he's not able to join us racing today, but at least for the Porsches is joining us in the commentary box. So thanks for being with us, John.
Good morning, Dan.
What do you think we're going to see in this qualifying session and then in these 2 races?
Oh, that's a question and a half.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Aidan looks like he's got the pace, to be honest. Adam's definitely up there. Probably going to challenge him for pole, but I think Aidan's probably just got the better of him. After that, at the moment, by the looks of things from practice, it's anyone's game. Great lap put in practice by Aaron to get up close up into third. The other guys are they're putting their best in. It's a very difficult car to drive, and it's especially difficult round here. But it's anyone's game below Adam and Aidan, to be honest.
Yeah, probably worth mentioning 1:11.069 already by Aidan Carter. That's quicker than he went in practice. His quickest practice time was a 1:11.3. Look how much Kirby's taking through Church. Too much, but he's taken off with him onto the grass. He's kept his foot in though. This is proving a very, very tricky track for these cars. It's a tricky track anyway for anyone who's driven Thruxton in the past knows how difficult it is to get it stopped for the complex and for the chicane here.
Yeah, not for the first time this year. Aidan really seems to have found the rhythm in this car. He seems to have really found his feet and is absolutely rapid. That's by far the fastest time we've seen. Adam was already down into the 111s as well. That's the quickest he's gone so far as well. Nothing below a 12 for Adam in practice.
Adam did have a few braking problems in practice. His practice time was quite disruptive, so I don't think he got a chance to get the most he liked. He was in traffic for quite a lot of his sort of early stage of this session as well. Here's Aaron Daly in third. Now, he was third in practice, which was a cracking result by Aaron. 1:12.9 so far. I think his ideal that was about a 1:12.2 from the splits we saw in practice, so a bit more to come there. We have got quite a few drivers missing that we would normally see here. Obviously, John's not with us today. We have no Stanley Donaldson, no Costas Avram, no Martin Buchan. So 4 of the top 8 in the championship are not here. So it's a big opportunity for drivers like Aaron Daly to make some good gains. Aaron's best results so far in the Porsche so far this season is 9th. So I think he'll probably, especially when he's got 10 cars, comfortably beat that in the 2 races today.
Yeah, considering the information he imparted to us when he arrived at the venue this morning, that he might have been out a little bit late last night as well. He's really found something all of a sudden now. And he's still not quite matched his lap time from practice yet. He got down to a 12.6 in practice with the predicted of a 12.2, as Dan said. So I think we've probably got more to come from him yet, especially if he can get a lap hooked together nicely as he runs wide at the complex,
which will not be this one.
No.
So we have Carter, Christopher, and Daly top 3 with Jack Bonney just on your screen there in 4. Here's Pierre Delby. Now, he had a good run in practice earlier on. I think he and the 2 Daly brothers maybe have a chance of maybe challenging Ben Bennyworth, sort of the top end of the midfield today, so we'll keep an eye on how
Pierre was sat comfortably in 4th for most of practice until Bennyworth got a nice lap in.
Mr. Consistency, Pierre, so far 4 Porsche races, he's had 3 8th places.
I hadn't realised that.
I'm just looking at my point tally now. Yep, he's got 3 8th places. He's 9th.
As we've lost it going into Goodwood.
That's not good. We've been on air for what, 4.5 minutes? And I think that's 2 or 3 commentators' curses already.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen when you're not here. Can you go home, please?
It's okay. It's only for the Porsche races. I'm not commentating for the touring cars.
Yeah, I think it's probably worth, as we have a look at Ben Bennyworth here, I think big chance for him today to get some podiums, a good result. About the championship, because although Aidan's been the most raw pace, the quickest driver, he's not leading the championship because, as Adam described it to himself, he's taking the Colin Turkington tactic. Adam's had a win in 3 seconds.
Yeah,
Adam, he's leading by 6 points coming into this.
Adam, considering he wasn't sure if he was going to be doing this at all this year, has just consistently been keeping it on track, having no issues whatsoever, and just pounding round near enough at the same sort of pace as Aidan, to be fair. I mean, he is just incredibly consistent, and he can turn up, and as soon as he gets in the car, even with minimal practice, Adam is immediately on the pace. It's quite impressive to watch, really.
Yeah, technically our defending champion after he won in the Alpines last year. But I think he's...
Big slide again.
Into church. Deary me.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of that so far. We had a huge slide through Goodwood with Aidan in practice.
Aidan managed to hang out the rear end all the way around Goodwood on one of his laps in the practice session.
That's not the first time we've seen Adam drifting it through church either.
No. I don't think Adam appreciated me reminding him of the big accident he caused to church in the last lap of one of the touring car races last season.
What were his words? I think you'll find it wasn't caused, it was involved.
So let's have a quick look at the times then. We're halfway through the session. So a 1:11.0 for Carter, 1:11.7 for Christopher, 1:12.9 for Aaron Daly. Jack Bonney 1:13.0. Not quite maybe on the pace we expected him to be so far. Ben Bennyworth 1:13.1. Really the marker on 1:13.1. Jamie Hudson 1:13.5. That's a big improvement. That's a good couple of seconds quicker than he managed to practice. A good improvement.
Yeah, Reno's improved quite well from practice as well by the looks of things. I think he was a high 13 in practice to begin with.
1:13.6 for Pierre, 1:14.9 for Conor Daly. I don't think he's quite managed to have a decent lap up yet. Neil Harris is a newcomer to us. A lot of spins in practice, but I don't think he's had a huge amount of testing time. This is not an easy car to start with. It's not an easy track to start with. He's on a 1:16.3 at the moment. Hopefully we'll see some good improvement from him as the day goes on and through the two races. But this is definitely a baptism of fire. If you're going to start doing organised racing here, then it's not the car or track you choose.
Yeah, no, not really. This is ironically the first round that I ended up doing in the Alpines last year. In the wet.
Yeah, I raced in that last year.
Yeah, you raced in that last year.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, first round I showed up for last year in the Alpines.
Big slide by Aidan again. 23.7. He's less than a tenth off first split. Let's have a look at this lap as he comes up to church. Now, how much curb is he going to take here? He's been really aggressive on the curbs, a little bit there. He was telling me that he doesn't sort of basically lifts off both pedals coming through, particularly church when he's on the curbs and everything, just to let the car settle itself and then get on it again. With the
Porsche being as stiff as it is as well, if you take that little bit too much curb through church, there is a really, really big bump just on the inside of the actual painted curbing where like the AstroTurf is, and if you clip that, it really sends the car up onto its side and starts to try and push it out wide. So you've got to be really careful coming through church not to take too much curb, because it can destroy your lap and it can send you off quite easily as well. It's that big.
Good improvement for Jack Bonney there, and that's enough to move him into third place. A 1:12.5. That's a bit more like it for the number 33 car. It's moved him 4 tenths clear of Aaron Daly. So Jack Bonney, who did get his first podium at Brands, is up into P3. I remember he threw one away at Donington in the very late stages. Here's Adam coming back into the pit, so he should get... There's only 5 minutes left, so a change. He might get another couple of laps in. Get one last very quick run.
Yeah, that's more what I was expecting out of Jack, to be fair, from the practice times that he's been setting.
Look at Aaron Daly, I think. He's done a personal best first sector. 23.9, that's not a bad first sector at all. We go on board now coming out of Goodwood. So coming up to sector 2 any second now. So he heads up towards church.
There's that
another 4 tenths down. This is a good lap.
This is a very good lap.
It's a very good lap. He's been threatening potentially to get into the 111s for a while. If he can nail the chicane and not breach track limits, particularly on that right-hander at the end, this could move him up. Maybe third, maybe even second gets a really good run through the left, through the right.
Track limits.
A little bit untidy, but no track limits. Is he going to have to get into the 111s? No, it's not. He has improved. 1:12.7, but it's still
he's had a little bit of a nightmare in sector 3 there. I don't think he was particularly happy coming into the final chicane by the looks of things.
I wonder if that's one of he could see how good a lap he got on and panicked a bit and then went a bit overly cautious.
Possibly,
trying to protect the lap sort of going into you can't do that at Thruxton.
No,
you just lose far too much time going into the chicane.
I think probably hitting the inside curb at church and unsettling the car as much as he did probably put him off slightly as well, to be honest.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. So we've got just under 4 minutes to go now. Conor Daly up in fifth place. Well, we were talking a few minutes ago about him whether he's trying to hook up a lap or not. So I had a feeling there was a big improvement in there. That's nearly 2 seconds quicker than a lap that he managed. So that's number 19 is Aaron Daly on your timing tower, just because there's no differentiation between them. Number 5 is in position number 5 is the man you're looking at there, Conor Daly, up to 5th on a 1:13.050. That relegates Ben Bennyworth down to 6th. I think Ben will be a bit disappointed by that,
Yeah, I
given
think he will be as
a
well.
few of the other drivers around him in the championship currently not being here. Ben, I mean, I think if he can find half a second, that'll put him back up into the second row. Exactly, as I say that, he does it.
He does precisely that, yeah.
And leapfrogs both Daly brothers and goes back up into P4. He's got another less than a tenth to find to unseat Jack Bonny from 3rd.
I'm quite surprised by the gap between Aidan and Adam, to be honest. That's quite a large gap between the two of them. 6 to 10 gap between Aidan and Adam.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think Adam's doing anything wrong.
No, I just think Aidan's
just
that quick.
Aidan is, I wonder if Grant, because you've got, is Aidan out of the pod? Has he finished? No, he's just come back out now. I apologise.
Oh, he's going for a very last-minute run then.
Yeah, he's literally going to get one lap in with 2:20 to go. This is so late. If it was a MotoGP session, I'd just call it a practice start. So Adam's on a good lap here, actually. Good first sector, not bad in the second, but getting it stopped for the chicane. I know he's been not particularly happy with brakes at all through practice, so this I think is where he feels most vulnerable.
It is so tetchy on brakes, this car. There's sometimes they're on, sometimes they're off. If you go that little bit too far, you lock them front.
Oh, 1:11.2.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, look at the slide through hard. Fantastic. That's a cracking lap by Adam. He's got the gap down to just over 2 tenths. To get on that close to Aidan Carter.
That is more what I was expecting out of Adam, to be fair.
Superb. Yeah, that's much more like them, Adam and Christopher. And they are the two of them, and I think it sets the stage for what is going to be sort of 2-horse race. At least in race 1, before we have the reverse grid, they are 1.2 seconds clear of everybody else.
I think a lot of the race between the two of them will come down to who can preserve their tyres the longest, because the cars are eating their tyres round here.
I think to underline the point, the gap between Adam Christopher in 2nd and Jack Bonny in 3rd is smaller than the gap between Jack Bonny in 3rd and Pierre Delby in 9th.
Wow.
Yeah, just to underline the point, basically the rest of the field, excluding obviously Neil Harris, who is a newcomer to us. So 2-horse race. One thing I thought is worth mentioning, trying to get my words out today, is going to be traffic, particularly in race 2 with the reverse grid, and how difficult it's going to be to manage the tyres. 18-lap races, both of these, and I think that could be decisive in race 2 in terms of how well Aidan and Adam can come through, as Jack Bonny does a 1:11.8 to strengthen his hold on P3.
Yeah,
traffic in race 2?
I think you're probably right about that. I think Aidan and Adam have probably got the pace, so long as everyone at the front in race 2 keeps it nice and clean for the first lap or two, that they'll probably find it fairly easy to work their way through the field. Just
going to interrupt you, John, because Aidan potentially is going even quicker here. He's done a purple sector 2, really on it here. Could he get into the 110s? He's going to get across the line before the flag drops, so he would get one more lap if he wants it. Really pushing this chicane. I think he's just about okay on track limits. Here he comes, 1:11.069 his best so far. Will he get into the 110s?
No, quite.
But he has shaved off, what was that, about a hundredth of a second. 1:11.055. Here's Aaron Daly on a personal best lap. This will be his last lap. Checker flag is out. Can he get himself onto the second row? Yes, he can.
Yes, he can.
1:12.227, a tenth quicker. No, sorry, 3 tenths quicker.
3 tenths quicker.
Bennyworth.
He's now reached what was he expected to reach as his personal best time.
He did, yeah, 1:12.2 exactly in free practice. One is ideal split.
Aidan's got quicker in sector 1 again.
Meanwhile, Aidan Carter, as you say, John, means business. Here he comes through the long right of Goodwood, past the end of the runway. Car just naturally runs out wide, just don't want to run too wide onto the grass. It's so easy to run on the grass on the outside there, and he just cannot get it back. How much curve does he take through Church? None this time, as it happens. Let's it run out right to the red sausage curb. Lost a tiny little bit in sector 2, but this lap is still very much in play. Aidan's pole is secured. Adam Christopher's in the pit, so he's not going to get beaten. But can he make a statement and get it into the 110?
I think he wants that 110, doesn't he?
Oh, really pushing on the outside. He's going to get down the track limits on the outside there. Up to the line. No, he's just lost it through the last corner. So, Aidan Carter, Adam Christopher, Jack Bonny, Aaron Daly, Ben Bennyworth, Connor Daly, Reno DeMarco, Jamie Hudson, Pierre Delby and Neil Harris. That is your grid for the 18-lap race 1 coming up shortly. But I think Aidan, John, will probably look at those times and see how close Adam's got to him and think, yeah, he's going to put him under a bit of pressure again.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we always knew Adam was going to be pretty close. I think Aaron might be a little... sorry, Aiden might be a little bit more worried about Adam now than he was going into it. I still don't think he's going to be that worried. He's doing so well on his tyres, and he has so much raw pace in this car. He really seems to have found the rhythm and flow of getting this car around Thruxton.
Well, 2 wins for Aiden and 2 wins for Adam today would put them level on points at the top of the championship at the end of the day. So, but there's plenty of racing and lots of traffic and lots of variables like tyres to come up in the 2 18-lap races that are following very shortly. Stay with us here at Simply Race. Round 5 of the Simply Race Porsche Challenge at Thruxton is just around the corner. Welcome back to Thruxton. Just about to get underway with the first of the 2 Porsche Challenge races today, round 5 of 14 of the championship. It's an 18-lap race, and here is the grid. Aidan Carter, 1:11.0 on pole position. He might not have things all his own way without Christopher 2 tenths behind, and those two well clear the rest of the field. Jack Bonny and Aaron Daly, likely candidates for the last spot of the podium. They form row 2. Ben Bennyworth and Connor Daly form row 3. Then it's Reno DeMarco, a much improved Jamie Hudson, who's much quicker in qualifying than he was in practice, and Pierre Gelby and newcomer Neil Harris that now match the 10-car grid. 4 of the top 8 in the championship are missing today for varying different reasons, so a chance for some other drivers to get some good results. One of those 4 is sat alongside me, John Dean Smith. What are you expecting to see in race 1?
Honestly, I think Aidan and Adam are going to just piss. They have so much pace over the rest of the field. I don't know if they're going to swap position at all, to be honest. It could be, it's anyone's guess.
I don't want to not sell it, but this whole thing's got a feeling of Adam sitting behind him taking the points again, because he's already admitted in his strategy. He's had a win in 3 seconds so far this season, which is why he's leading the championship.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that, unfortunately. I mean, anything could happen. Aidan could take a curb wrong, which will unsettle the car. Adam could come through. I mean, if the pair of them have any sort of incident between themselves, I don't think they will. They're too professional for that, to be honest. But if either of them have any sort of incident, Jack Bonny's right there to come and collect up all the pieces, and Aaron as well.
In a word, just before we get to start, who do you think is going to finish third?
If everything goes according to plan, Jack. Otherwise, Aidan.
Okay.
Aaron.
Okay, thank you very much for that, John. As the cars line up on the grid, Aidan has the inside line, Aidan Carter in the black car number 43 on the left-hand side, the white and blue car of Alan Crisper number 46 on the outside in second place on the grid. Jack Bonny and Aaron Daly behind them on row 2. It's an 18-lap race, the 5th round of the Simply race. The Porsche Challenge, the first of 2 races round Thruxton, is about to get underway. And they're off. Good start from Carter, you'd expect.
Bad start from Jack.
They're very good spot. John Bonny is going to have a lot of hard work to come into the complex to try and hold off Aaron Daly for 3rd position. It's Carter, Christopher outside of him as they come up towards.
That's a brave move trying to go around the outside there in the first lap.
Into the complex. Oh, there's a spin. I think that might have been Reno DeMarco spun at the back. Jack Bonny having a look. It's going to be Carter. Christopher just holding off Jack Bonny. Then Bennyworth up to 4th ahead of Aaron Daly. Then it's Connor Daly in 6th. Reno DeMarco, unfortunately, was the big loser as they came through the complex for the first time. Through the left-hander of Noble, Aidan Carter already with a very useful lead. The long, endless, almost right-hander of Goodwood. Carmen's right to the outside of the track as they come to Church, John. Aidan already with a bit of a gap to play with.
Yeah, considering the start from Jack, I'm quite impressed that he's managed to stay on the back of Adam that well, although the gap does now appear to be opening out a little bit. That gap that Aidan's got already, I mean, wow. As we hear, I believe, Aaron in the background.
Aaron Daly's been off at Church. I think that shouts in the background, and there's only one person that could be.
Yeah.
He's not back coming forward, and that's going to be a real disappointment for him. I think he'll have to try and regroup to get on the reverse grid as he rejoins now. So that's him dropping out of, he was in 5th position. Back to the leader. Was that Jack Bonny passing Alan Christopher? It was. Jack Bonny's up to 2nd there.
How's he done that?
I don't know whether Alan's made a mistake into the chicane, or lost the break or whatever, but Jack Bonny up to P2, and that is unexpected. Hopefully Grant might find a replay and see if we can find out what happened there. But suddenly Aidan Carter is now 2 seconds to the good. Jack Bonny in 2nd place. I mean, that was easy as Aidan Carter's ears.
Aidan's going to have to make a huge mistake for him to not win this now.
I've just seen the replays. Grant get up. Adam just ran far too wide coming on the exit of the out of the chicane onto the pit straight. I think he might take too much curve onto the grass, and Jack
just got the inside line.
You see it on your screen there as they come into Allard. Big opportunity there for Jack Bonny to mix it among the top contenders. So Carter is now 2.4 seconds, a lap and a half into the race. It's Bonny, Christopher, then another 2 seconds behind into Bennyworth, then Connor Daly, Delby's gone from 9th up to 6th, then Hudson, good clean first lap for Neil Harris, good news, up to 8th place ahead of the recovering DeMarco and Aaron Daly.
I think Jack's going to have to be careful here because once Adam's got his head down again, he will be mega quick through the fast sections of the track, which is where he seems to be making a lot of time up on Jack. So he's really going to have to watch his mirrors at this point, I think, because Adam's going to be pushing to come back through again.
Yeah, and 1:12.8 by Jack Bonney on that lap is very, very quick for a race pace.
That is
so he's
incredibly
obviously
quick.
going to be really pushing on, which potentially maybe even a little bit more prone to making an error. On the screen, we're looking at, I'm just going to change, we're going back to the Bonney Christopher file, we're just going to Ben Bennett to the Connor Daly there. So here is Bonney and Christopher coming through Seagrave and up towards Noble. Might have been Neil Harris's dropped it, not sure. No, I think, yeah, Connor's come through second.
Connor's come through, yeah.
There. Might be just someone running off.
Yeah.
Neil Harris, unfortunately. Newcomb had a lot of spins in practice. As we were saying in our qualifying broadcast, not an easy car or track to come into.
Result for Pierre here with the issues happening in front of him. He's gone from 9th on the grid up to 6th with not having to do a lot.
Just a replay there of Neil Harris losing it on the break and coming into Campbell. But yeah, Pierre, as we say, Pierre up to 6th place. He's been Mr. Consistency so far. 3 8th places from 4 races so far. I think 6th one of his best results today was the Alpines and this. So good opportunity for the likes of
Jack has to be really careful here. He's putting in some seriously quick lap times.
3. That is absolutely. It's getting towards his. When he did about a 1:11.7, 1:11.8 in qualifying, really qualifying pace. I think Adam Christopher's thinking, I'm just going to sit until he makes a mistake.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a case of sitting and waiting for a mistake. Yeah, I think it's just sitting there waiting for a mistake. Or to be perfectly honest, if he keeps up these lap times, waiting for his tyres to go off.
Yes, very good point. One thing to bring up that Lance just mentioned here in the box is track limits. Because Aidan Carter may be leading by nearly 4 seconds. He hasn't set a legal lap time yet because of track limits. And the way it works at Simply Race is that you have the track limit points that accumulate as you make track limits offences, more points for the more severe breach. And if you go over the threshold, you get a penalty for it. And I know that the track limits threshold is very strict on the chicane and the right-hander in particular. So that is one thing Aidan Carter, I know he had a lot of track limits breaches in practice and qualifying, so it's one thing he's mindful of, although now having a 4-second advantage does give him a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, I think you'll probably see Aidan back off a little bit if he starts to get towards, or maybe not as he sets a 1:11.5. I think Aaron may have just had an incident again, as we've heard a shout from outside the commentary box. Yeah, I think Aidan, as he gets towards that threshold for track limits, you'll probably see him back off, especially with the lead that he's got. He doesn't need to be pushing it as hard as that. The only time it'll start to worry him too much is if Adam gets back past Jack and starts making his way towards Aidan.
Jamie Hudson, I think, is having quite a big off because he's fallen all the way to the very back of the field now.
Whoa!
It was a very big off.
There's that inside.
My goodness, still going. Oh my goodness me!
There's that inside curb at Church that I was talking about in qualifying.
That's an MOT fail. Well, then we wonder why Jamie Hudson lost one time. Now you know why. And Neil Harris, our newcomer, has been promoted to 7th place as a result. With the benefiting from Aaron Daly, Rennie DeMarco and Jamie Hudson having some loss. Connor Daly is spun. Now the fact that we're seeing this many incidents is not altogether a surprise, is it, John? Not just because of the car and the tyres, but also because of just how difficult this car is to drive.
No, part of the reason that I'm not doing this round is the fact that these cars are fairly hateful to drive in the first place, and they are even more hateful to drive around Thruxton. It's not one of my fortes, Thruxton, as much as I enjoy it. I'm not particularly quick round here, so after doing quite a bit of practice, I just decided that because of how difficult it really is to give this one a skip, so the fact we're seeing so many people fall off, it really isn't that much of a surprise at all, to be honest.
Yeah, probably worth giving a quick rundown, just a quick update of what's going on now. A little time to tell there, given we've had so many offs there. So Aidan Carter now 5 seconds to the good. We're looking at Jack Bonney and Adam Christopher second and third. Ben Bennyworth still doing his normal, fairly consistent thing in 4th place. He's 1.8 seconds ahead of Pierre Delby, who's close to getting a nosebleed.
Yeah, Pierre's quite quietly sat there and just gone round and round. He's now in 5th.
Case in point, Connor Daly only lost 1 place because of that spin coming out of Goodwood, so he's still in 6th place. Neil Harris, I think he's only had 1 off. I think given how much he was struggling in practice, he's doing a remarkable job. Touch wood.
Absolutely.
Team on 7th place, then it's Aaron Daly and Jamie Hudson recovering from his double somersault and pike coming up towards Church there. So we've only had Aidan Carter's just completed lap 6. He's still lapping in the 1:11s. Did a 1:11.9 there. Jack Bonney's now dipped into the 1:13, which is more what we'd see in terms of race pace.
I'm surprised Aiden's racing that quickly, to be honest. The fact that the tyres on this car do tend to be eaten away, especially around here. I'm surprised that he's going as quick as that. I'd have thought he'd have quite happily just sat with his 5-second lead.
I didn't even think he'd build up a gap that much personally. I thought we'd get to about 3, particularly seeing that Adam is behind Jack Bonnet.
Absolutely.
I thought he'd see the gap was there and just sit on it, frankly.
I mean, this lap alone, he's increased the gap by another 8 tenths, nearly 9.
Yeah, he's done another 1/10.5 in the first sector of this lap. And he's just going to the second sector now. I'm just going to keep around 24.1 for Aiden. And it's going to be a 24.2 for Jack Bonnet. I think he might have eased off a little bit on this lap. But yeah, he's now 6 seconds in front. And it's more what Adam Christopher does here. I think it's going to be the most interesting thing we'll see in the second half of this race.
I know he's leading the championship, but I'm quite surprised that Adam hasn't tried to go on the attack a little bit more here, to be honest. I know he's quite happy. Yeah, I mean, I know he's quite happy to sit and collect points where he can, but he definitely has the pace over Jack. So I'm quite surprised that he is just sat within that sort of second gap to it.
I think we've lost Neil Harris in sector 2, unfortunately, because he's dropped out of that 7th place. So shame for the newcomer.
Yeah, issue at Goodwood by the looks of things again. He was having a lot of issues at Goodwood in practice. It is very tricky to get this car turned in and stopped to get it round Goodwood.
He has, and I mean absolutely no disrespect to Neil here, because I know how difficult it is to drive around Thruxton. He has found bits of runoff here that we didn't know existed. We did look at the screen earlier going, hang on a minute, where on track is he? Yeah, so no, fair play for Neil for really giving us a go and coming into what, as people like Aiden and Jack and Adam find demonstrating, is a very high level championship. So back to the battle for second then, coming through Church and then back up Wooden Hill towards the chicane ring for the 8th time.
See, here we go, Adam's really closed in now.
This is the closest he's got so far. Will he have a lunge into the chicane and just trying to take a bit of pressure? It looks like a bit of a renewed assault.
Part of the issue you've got with these cars, and I think what Adam will probably be finding as well, is that you have to basically be attached to the back bumper of the car in front to get the move done properly. The brakes are so finite on this car that you can't just go for a huge lunge from miles back. You'll never get it stopped. You'll lock the fronts, you might end up locking the rears and spinning by doing that as well. So you really, really have to be absolutely on the back bumper as he makes a mistake coming out the complex.
Yeah, Adam really getting on the power too much coming out of Cole, but it really compromises one going into Seagrave. It's kind of one of those who's going to blink first, isn't it? I think Adam's basically relying on Jack.
Yeah, I think he's relying on a mistake from Jack now, to be honest. If he starts to push too much, he's going to end up making one, and that's quite rare for Adam, to be fair.
Yeah, well, Adam's championship lead is down to 1 point as it stands, with Aiden Carter winning the race. Carter with 20 points for a win, 15 for third, so Adam Christopher came with a 6-point lead, so that'll be down to just 1.
Does mean that he'll be starting in front of him for the reverse grid, though.
Yes, it does, but as we know, as we've seen in both the reverse grid races we've had in the Porsche so far this season, take a pack of cards, throw them up, and see what happens. Who knows what's going on. So halfway through the race, Aiden Carter 1:12.6. I think he's now 7th into a pace he's more comfortable with. Bonnie, Christopher, Bennyworth now 3.5 seconds over Pierre Delby, and Connor Daly, Urban Bailey, Vinny DeMarco, Neil Harris, Jamie Hudson. This is by far the closest battle on the track, as you can see from the easeful gaps on the timing tower there. So we're going to stick with it at least for the time being as they come through.
I mean, even with Aiden, what looks to be settling into more of a rhythm now at a slightly slower pace, he's still lapping quicker than the 2 cars behind him.
We have to kind of sit here and wonder, play Captain Hindsight for a minute. Had Adam not lost out to Jack at the end of the first lap, how this race would have panned out? Are we thinking maybe not much different?
I'll be honest, by the looks of things, from the pace of everything that's going on, I don't think so. I think Aiden's got the clear measure of the field here and is quite happy to just pound around putting decent lap times in. Quicker, I mean, he's lapping, last lap was a 10th quicker than Jack, 2/10 quicker than Adam, and that's him settling down into a rhythm and not going flat out.
He's just done another, he's pumping in 1:12s at will, 1:12.1 there, compared to a 1:12.3 from Jack Bonnie, which is actually his fastest lap of the race, and a 1:12.5 Madden. So definitely improving in pace for this battle for second and third on that lap.
I'm quite surprised that between the three of them, this far into the race, they still feel they've got the tyres under them to be able to get that lap time out the car.
Yeah, we're going to go. There's a good battle here developing at the rear of the field as Neil Harris. Oh, he's not going to collect Jamie Hudson. Thank God for that. The Reno DeMarco, Jamie Hudson, you're looking at the orange car there, and then Neil Harris just losing it coming through Goodwood. This is the battle for 8th, 9th and 10th for the guys who are recovering.
Good save from Harris there.
Yeah, it was a good save. Very good save. Given obviously already had a couple off, the tyres are not going to be in good nick.
Not at all.
Even worse than they would be anyway. So, yeah, good save by him. And it's going to be interesting for him, as it looks at the moment, starting from pole position for race 2.
Looks like,
a full reverse grid.
Looking at the gaps and intervals, looks like Connor's had quite a lonely race at the moment. By the looks of things, he's 12 seconds behind Pierre, and then his brother's 11 seconds behind him as well. So, quite an open and empty race for the two Daly brothers by the looks of things.
I think I had a Porsche race like that round Thruxton last season, where everyone the front wheel behind me kept going off, and I think it just wound up about 10th. And it's like, where is everybody? So yeah, it does happen. Obviously, having a slightly smaller field for this weekend, it is.
We've got Aidan onto the back of the pack now.
Yeah,
he's got to come past and lap some cars.
We did wonder if that was going to be an issue. Is Neil Harris going to see that he's there? I don't think he has.
He hasn't. No. This could possibly get messy.
This is kind of probably the biggest obstacle that Aidan's got to winning the race. He's 7.5 seconds ahead. We're going to afford plenty of time. We've got 6 and a bit laps to go.
I think you'll find he's decided to just back off through the fast section and wait till he gets to the final chicane to make the move, so that he doesn't end up with a large incident.
Harris has gone so far wide through Church, he's be able to get past up the hill, no problem. He's got the inside line now to come up Wooden Hill, so we should be able to get past pretty comfortably. Come to the chicane or not?
No. Harris is locked up.
I think the Fraser's given him enough rope to hang himself there.
Yeah.
But Aidan Carter safely negotiating the first to the back markers at least as a complete lap 12. And that did cost him a second of his lead.
Here comes Jack and Adam.
Harris just been joined by the front of Adam Christopher.
I could be completely wrong here, but from what I'm seeing on screen at the moment, it looks to me like Harris doesn't realise he should be letting the lap cars past.
I think he has that time.
I think he has that time, to be fair.
I think it was.
I think it was just, yeah.
Yeah. I think the rejoin comes to that was just really unfortunate timing. I wouldn't put anything down to it too much there, but obviously it has now given Jack Bonnie a gap of more than a second and a half to play with.
Yeah, I don't think Adam's gonna try and go for anything here. I think Adam's just gonna quite happily sit and take the points for third and see what he can do in the reverse grid now.
Yeah, well, I think the race is pretty much hit maximum Peter.
Yes.
Let's have a look, if we can, Grant, at the Reno DeMarco Jamie Hudson battle. There's less than a second between them. That is definitely the closest battle on track at the moment. Here they are going to chicane. That's Aidan Carter behind them, about to lap them to add a further layer of complexity to it. And Reno is really going to have to defend from Jamie here. Jamie up the side.
The Battle of Orange Apex.
Side by side.
Well,
orange cars, but
no.
Black and orange against orange and black.
Jamie's got right out of the way there. So's Reno.
Reno done the same. Yep, that's okay. I was worried that
Reno was going to come back in and
cost himself too much time. Yeah. And Jamie might profit, but pretty much line astern through Seagrave as they come back up towards Noble. Well, for them, the 13th time, but as they are now a lap down, it's effectively a 17-lap race for them. Up to Goodwood, tighter line by Reno. It's the better run, but running wide. He doesn't want to end up on the grass, because if you end up on the grass there, you will not get that back in.
No, not at all.
Once that's it, you are gone. You are halfway to the A303. You ain't getting that back.
That Marshall post somewhere in the background is normally where you end up.
Yeah, or Reno's gone off.
They've both gone wide.
Both gone off wide of each other. Well, they're definitely pushing on, but I think Reno's going to lose more speed. But coming up the hill, I think Jamie's going to get past on the outside, but he's going to get through up the hill.
Adam's back.
Or is he going to get it stopped? He's going to take a very wide line into...
Oh, it's all gone a little bit pear-shaped. Reno's letting back past there.
I know that's not my job. I'm just going to let those pictures speak for themselves. There's all sorts of stuff.
There's all sorts of things going on there. All sorts of things going on there. On that note, Adam Christopher is now back on the rear end of Jack Bonney.
He is indeed. 4 laps to go. And yeah, a big gain.
Wow, big
The
gain.
last two sectors on the last lap. Sector 2, Adam took out nearly a quarter of a second, then 4/10 in Sector 3. That could, well, I wonder, be tyre related. Because it was only a couple of laps ago, Adam Christopher was more than 1.5 seconds behind after getting through the back markers. That gap is now down, as you can see on the screen, to less than half a second. So Adam might still be able to pull second place out of the bag. I mean, we know Adam likes playing the long game, has been playing even a longer game than even we realised.
I mean, it's entirely possible. I'm quite surprised that he's left it this late to do it, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I would have expected him to want to get back past Jack and at least try and get onto the back end of Aiden and go with him with that gap that he's created.
The lines that Jack was taking there between Goodwood and Church suggest to me he's really, really struggling with his tyres.
Yeah, at this point in time, considering how fast he was going at the beginning of the race, it wouldn't surprise me if he is really starting to struggle.
All over that. They've got an opportunity.
I think he's really struggling with tyres now, and now he's under pressure from Adam as well.
There's not really much for braking zone at Allards. It's not a good place to do it. There's a back marker off ahead of them, Reno DeMarco. Hopefully he won't get driven away too much as he rejoins. As they come through the left-hander of Green and up towards the complex. Well done, Reno, for keeping out of the way. 3 laps to go. They've still got to lap Jamie Hudson as well, probably. Through the left of Cobb and the right of Seagrave. And yeah, just Jack Bonney's car just looks so...
Yeah,
doesn't it? It doesn't look right.
No, he's clearly struggling to get it turned in now. I think the fronts have probably gone on him. And then obviously, with his overcorrections to trying to get the car, he's starting to lose the back end as he's getting on the power with having too much steering lock on.
Yeah, case in point, Jack Bonney last time on 1:13.9. That's 1.6 seconds slower than his fastest lap of the race. So, and you can see Adam really pushing on through Church. He can sense an opportunity here, but he's got just the chicane plus 2 more laps to take advantage of it. Neil Harris has had a warning for an unsafe rejoin, which I think was probably fair enough, just so he knows what to do for race 2 in case it happens again. We'll stick with this battle for second place. Bonnie and Christopher with 2 laps to go. Aiden Carter's more than 9 seconds up the road. Don't worry about him. He's about to take his 3rd win of the season. But will his championship lead be 1 point or 3? That depends on what happens here.
Adam needs to be careful now coming through the last chicane that he doesn't end up with an illegal pass for track limits, because he took a lot of curb coming through the chicane there, trying to get onto the back of
hold up by
Jack.
Hudson. Bonnie's lost a lot of time there through Hudson, the back mark out of the way, and that has allowed Adam Christopher to get right back on his tail. We'll keep an eye on Aiden Carter with your picture-in-picture in the bottom right corner of your screen here, but we'll stick with this battle for second.
Adam's only really got that one place left to do this properly without it causing a huge incident, and that's going to be coming into the last chicane.
Yeah, it could very easily be a Jack Bonney mistake because of how much he looks like he's struggling with his tyres as they come through Goodwood for the penultimate time. A short shoot down to Church, the quickest corner of the entire season. You've got to get it right for the long drag up Wooden Hill back to the chicane, out of Church. Adam pushing on. He's got a decent run here, I think, but I'm not sure he's maybe quite
I don't think he's quite close enough.
Here he comes up Wooden Hill. Jack, I imagine, is going to defensive as Adam can have a look. It's going to be a very late lunging to do it, which isn't really Adam's style. He's not a full same kind of driver.
Not at all.
Round they come.
He's happily settled for third.
He's going to start the last lap.
I think he'll happily have settled for third now.
Yeah, unless it's dropped into his lap.
Yeah.
I think he's going to take the 3rd place. And Jack Bonney, if he can just hang on, which is easier said than done this time already. Oh, look how much ground Adam made up. Has he gone? Was going around the outside?
Going to try go around the outside.
Huge amount of time he made
Big lock up. Big lock up on the right front.
And I think that will be that, because I don't think, unless Jack makes a mistake, he's not going to get that gap back for the run up to the chicane. So Aiden Carter, we've got him picture-in-picture. Here he is, leading by more than 10 seconds now. He's had 2 wins, a 3rd, and the only reason he's not leading the championship was a chaotic race 2 at Brands where he could only manage 6th. But he's going to go a long way to making amends here, because it looks like he's going to reduce the championship lead that Adam Christopher has to just 1 point.
I think even Aiden might be struggling with tyres now, running that wide through Church.
Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it, how everyone's struggling. As they come up to the chicane for the final time, it's going to be a 3rd win of the season for Aiden Carter. I'm looking in the background so you can see the battle for second place. Aiden Carter, for the 3rd meeting out of 3 this season, wins race 1, almost hits the pit wall. And let's have a look at the battle for second. I think Jack Bonney has got it.
Yeah,
as they come through the chicane.
Jack's just kept hold of that.
Very messy run through the chicane, but I think he's just about going to hold on to it to the line. Yes,
just.
He does. Great result for Jack Bonney, a 2nd podium. Adam Christopher has to settle for 3rd, and we have to wait another 20 seconds
before we get to the man who's going to finish in 4th, which should be Ben Bennyworth.
Mr. Consistent, as per usual. Let the guys at the front go and battle it out with one another, hope for a mistake.
And then just behind him, I think we have to give some big plaudits to Pierre Delby. It's going to be by far his best ever finish here at Simply Racing. He's been absolutely delighted. Well done, Pierre, for keeping it on the road and gaining a well-earned 5th place as a result. Now we come to the next class with drivers who've only had one off, which is Connor Daly, who's going to finish in a very lonely 6th place. His brother's only about 4 seconds behind him.
Aaron has made up a lot of time towards the end of this race on his brother.
Yeah, Hare and the Tortoise very much in this case. Aaron has the faster race pace, but a couple of offs means he has to settle for 7th. There is Aaron Davies in 7th, the last man across the line because he was the last one on the lead lap. Then it was Reno DeMarco, Jamie Hudson and Neil Harris, who will therefore have pole position for the reverse grid race 2 coming up shortly. Expect fireworks in that.
Yeah, this should be interesting, shall we say, for the reverse grid?
Even by normal Porsche racing.
Yeah, even by normal Porsche racing standards.
So don't put the kids to bed just yet. Plenty more to look forward to. There's confirmation results. Aidan Carter winning from Jack Bonney and Adam Christopher. Aidan Carter closing to within 1 point in the championship now. Then Ben Bennyworth, the best ever result, Pierre Delby. Then Connor Daly, Aaron Daly, Reno DeMarco, Jamie Hudson and Neil Harris. We're going to take a very short break just for a few minutes. Stay with us. The action-packed reverse grid race 2 is coming up soon.
Anything could happen.
back to Thruxton. Formation lap time for race 2 of the Simply Race Porsche Challenge meeting at Thruxton, round 6 of the championship. Here is your reverse grid. Neil Harris, who had a couple of losses in the first race, and Jamie Hudson, who had a full somersault end-over-end crash on your front row. That should be fun. Then it's Reno DeMarco, Aaron Daly, who had a few technical problems why he had some odds in race 1. Then Connor Daly, Pierre Delby, very much missed consistency, said he was driving within himself to get his best ever result of 5th place in race 1. He starts 6th. And Ben Bennyworth, Adam Christopher, Jack Bonney, and the dominant race 1 winner Aidan Carter. He's won every race 1 so far this season. And he's at the back of the grid, has to work his way through this one. He is only 1 point on Adam Christopher in the championship. We have a new guest voice in the commentary box for race 2. John Lee Smith has gone to Peter Express, which is nice. Also, he may be back to join some two cars later. And so we're joined by another man who will be starring in the two cars later on, Chris Wilson, who's started. There we go. We've got his mic on. Thanks for joining us for race 2, Chris. Now, I know you're not particularly familiar with this championship, but I'm sure you're very much looking forward to seeing reverse grid Porsches around Thruxton.
Yeah, I mean, who's not looking forward to that?
Probably Aidan and Adam, if we're being honest.
Well, okay, those two aside, who's not looking forward to that? I mean, yeah, I watched race 1. There's a lot of potential in this one. I mean, there's a big pace difference between some of the drivers, and I mean, you are looking at potential carnage, or this could go off about a hitch and we'll just build it up to nothing. But who knows?
That's probably a bit optimistic, but we'll find out. I've been wrong before, and I'm sure I'll be wrong again. So the cars lining up on the grid. There is Aidan Carter starting in last place. If he can beat Adam Christopher in any position in this race, he will take the championship lead. He's got to get past him first. So another 18-lap racing prospect, full reverse grid. Neil Harris and Jamie Hudson on the front row. And where they go, Reno DeMarco's got a jump start penalty. He made a complete mess of it. Oh, and he's gone into the wall there. Connor Daly got collision before he even got to the first corner. This mess toward the back. I think Aidan's still at the back. I think he's being a bit more circumspect. It's going to be Harris, Hudson, and Aaron Daly. How did Aaron Daly get to third as they come through the comments for the first time? Oh, Jamie Hudson's gone wide, coming through Cobb, and Neil Harris somehow has got through unstained with a fairly useful lead. Here's Aidan Carter towards the back. That's him just behind Ben Bennyworth. I think Pierre Delby's come to grief because he falls to the back. And oh my God, there's cars everywhere. This is exactly kind of what we expected of lap 1 at Thruxton. I think it's going to take a few corners till we can make more sense of it. It's Harris, Aaron Daly, Connor Daly, Hudson, DeMarco. Adam Christopher's got past Jack Bonney into 6th and 7th, and now they're going to come past Reno DeMarco into 5th. Neil Harris has gone off out of the lead. He didn't make it through the first lap, unfortunately, which puts Aaron Daly, as it was a Daly 1-2. Who saw that coming? With Jamie Hudson in 3rd, and that's Jack Bonney now trying to get past Reno DeMarco as well. Adam Christopher started 8th on a relatively unscathed first lap, and he's going to come out of it 4th. He's going to be absolutely over the moon with that to come through that first lap without getting to any significant points. Aaron Daly, Connor Daly, Hudson. I'll tell you what, I think actually Christopher's back past Hudson as well. That's Hudson, Christopher, Bonney's right there. Their battle from 2nd place being resumed here for 4th place in race 2 at least for the time being. But, Bonney, big send up the inside. Big send up the inside. I don't think he's going to get it because they've got the left-hander of Cobb, but it's going to confines Adam Christopher's line through the right of Seagrave. Aidan Carter in the background still hasn't got past Reno DeMarco. Almost contact as they come up towards Noble. In typical kind of Thruxton move, Chris, with the convicts, you can kind of set things up several corners in advance.
Oh yeah, you flop one way, you can literally cut back the other, and then the guy cuts back on you, and then it's all about the exit drive onto this back section. But Christopher managed to make it work, and he's held it together for now, and he's managed to come out that complex with a bit of a gap actually, so it's worked out quite well for him.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too long till Aidan Carter was past Reno DeMarco either, so the 3 guys with the pace this weekend may end up working their way through the field together as they head up Woodham Hill for the 2nd time with 18. So Aaron Daly has a lead about 1.3 seconds to play with. You can see him going through the front of the shot now. Then it's Connor Daly, then Hudson, then Christopher trying to get a better run out. He's really pushing the track limits to their limit as it comes up to Allard. Now then it's Bonney, then DeMarco and Aidan Carter not wanting too many risks. Getting past those back markers, and then it is Benworth, Daly and Harris rounding out the field. Probably not as much as I expected. first one. That's the defensive line there, though, Adam Christopher trying to get a better run through Cobb, trying to set up Hudson for a better move. Oh, some of these other Sino, you don't see that very often. I think Hudson almost couldn't get a run because of Connor Daly in the way, and I think that might be enough to get Adam Christopher into the third coming through. No, Boiling have to leave a bit of space for Hudson. But yeah, Adam Christopher gets it done. Nice bit of opportunity as a move to move up into third place. He might even get second place. Oh, with no contact. There's contact. Connor Daly was there. He's managed to hold on to it. How he didn't spin, I don't know. But it's forced Adam Christopher right down to the back of the pack. I don't know about your take on that one, because I'm not sure Connor Daly saw him, but he was ahead and he had the corner.
I'll be honest, from the angle we saw there, it looked hard to tell if there was full contact or if Christopher's car just grounded himself out on the curb. He was quite far up on the inside, and as we saw with the flip in the first race, you ground these Porsches out, you're out of here.
Yeah, well, Jamie Hudson going very wide there. He's a big cork in the bottle. Old Bonnie's going to go through. Carter's got past D'Amato. Carter's going to come past Hudson here. There's that one little bunch up at the chicane. It's all action now. Actually, Adam Christopher's trying to recover. He's stuck behind Ben Bennyworth now, so Christopher's gone down to 8th. So Jack Bonney and Aidan Carter have gone up to 3rd and 4th. Here's a replay of Adam Christopher going off. Oh, yeah, I think there was just a tiny bit of contact.
I'll be honest, I think he's just been unfortunate with how much overspeed he's had, and that gap just disappeared.
Closed up too quickly.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything untoward from Daly's part. It's just he was not expecting Christopher to appear that quick.
Meanwhile, with all those battlings between a bunch of them, Aaron Daly now leads by 4 seconds. We're already on lap 4 of the race. Now Aaron, I know he does get himself worked up on everything, and he does really put some pressure on himself. He has had one reverse grid win before in the Alpines last season at Croft. I know how much he'd love another one. He's 4.4 seconds good. Maybe he should race with a hangover more often. Here is Adam Christopher, who is now on the recovery. He and Pierre Delby have both passed Ben Bennyworth, who's having an out of sorts race, currently down in 9th place. But Christopher is finding himself a good couple of seconds and 2.5 seconds in 3 places behind Aidan Carter, who's fighting with Jack Bonney, and they're now trying to get past Connor Daly. So Carter's past Bonney. Oh, he's going to spin. Oh, collision with the back Connor Daly. The Chandler's off, and it's collected Hudson as well coming through Allard. Oh, goodness me, another twist and turn. He's at 100% record of race 1, but Aidan Carter has not had much luck in race 2s in Porsches this season. Oh, there's another spin there, and was that Adam and Reno DeMarco, and it's all kicking off now in the order. It's another change again. Yeah, that's a replay that was all at the end of the previous lap. Yeah, I'm not sure who that was. It's hard to keep track of what's going on. Let's try and take stock. So Aaron Daly now leads this race by 6 seconds from Connor Daly and Jack Bonney. A lap ago, Aidan Carter was in 4th and Adam Christopher was in 7th, and they've now swapped places. Pierre Delby has now found himself in 5th ahead of Ben Bennyworth. And yeah, and breathe. So that was that Adam running up the. Just trying to have a look at the replays on another screen here. I hope we can bring you up to date with what happened at the moment, and the race calms down a bit. Yeah, it's Reno's come through. I think again, Adams maybe he was expecting the driver in front of him a little bit quicker than expected, and Adams just got a really good run, and he's just got back of it.
Yeah, he's come through that last chicane with so much corner speed. He's literally ran himself into a cul-de-sac that happened to look like the back end of a Porsche.
Are we expecting a penalty there?
Oh, I mean, theoretically, at that point, it's probably on the onus of the car behind.
Oh, and a spin for Connor Daly, who's battling with Jack Bonney, and Bennyworth has collected in there as they come through the complex. And, oh, dearie me. And we've ended up with Jack Bonney, Adam Christopher, 2nd and 3rd again. Pierre Delby, who had a spin earlier at the back of the field, is now 4th. Aidan Carl's recovered to 6th and has done a fastest lap of the race, although it's only a 1:13.0, and he was lapping well into at times in the 1:11s in race 1. And Aaron Daly now leads this race by the best part of 8 seconds. And I mean, no disrespect to Aaron here, we've got a race where there's all sorts of chaos going on, and Aaron isn't in it. He's completely separate, far away from everything's going on, and he's got a bit of mild play, although Jack Bonney does appear to be closing up quite a bit to him on this lap, and that's come down to about 7 seconds again. So, we're coming to the end of lap 6 after a chaotic 2 or 3 laps there, and I think apart from Aaron Daly, everyone's had an incident or change at some point or another. So Daly leads, Bonney and Christopher there 2nd and 3rd. There's Pierre Delby, just trying to drive in someone getting mistakes. It yielded a 5th place in race 1. He now finds himself in 4th, just ahead of Ben Bennyworth. Aidan Carter is doing 1:13, so he's the quickest man on just on the track more or less. He's on a bit of a rampage to recover. He's 6th. Then it's Connor Daly, and then Jamie Hudson, Reno DeMarco, and Neil Harris rounding out the field. Told you a lot of action in race 2, Chris.
Well, you weren't wrong, Dan. It's
Yeah, thank you, Grant. Just a quick spot. I just wanted to interrupt you, Chris. Aidan Carter's got past Ben Bennyworth into 5th, and knowing Aidan's pace, it probably won't be too long until he gets Pierre Delby and gets back up into 4th. Sorry, Chris, you were saying?
no, that's fine. I think from Aaron's point of view, he must have been watching his telemetry to the cars behind jumping around erratically the last few laps and wondering what the hell's been going on.
Yeah, but however, this race is not a foregone conclusion because Aaron's being caught by Jack Bonnie at a rate of knots. Bonnie's taken half a second out of him on the first sector of this lap, another 4/10 on the second sector of this lap. Bonnie's pulled away from Adam Christopher again. He's got more than a second in hand. And Jack Bonnie, well, speaking to him before this race, so far in his Porsche this season, had a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, and a 7th. And I said, well, he's going to be probably getting a new position, either 1st or 6th. And I said he'd probably finish 6th. I was being a bit mean to him, but he might get a win. He's pumped in a 1:12.1, which is about nearly a second quicker than any other lap anyone's done so far in this race. That is 1.6 seconds quicker than Aaron Daly that time, and the gap's back down to just over 5 seconds. So with 11 laps still to go, this race is by no means a foregone conclusion, as we look at Aidan Carter bearing down on Pierre Delby for P4.
No, I think in a few laps' time you're going to see how good Daly's defence game is because Bonnie's coming for him, and I think Christopher won't be too far behind by the time he gets there.
Jack Bonnie did confirm to me after race 1 that he really was struggling with his tyres in those last few laps there. So obviously putting in times like that, he wants to get himself into the lead, but it could have consequences for him as we get towards the end of the race, with time wear at Thruxton being such a factor. As we watch Aidan Carter trying to get that 4th place away from Pierre Delby, who's had, what was it, a 2nd and a 6th in race 2s so far this season. He's won all 3 race 1s. No, he hasn't. Not in Porsches. No, Adam on race 2 at Wax. Adam wants a lot of things. So back onto the battle for 4th position. Aidan Carter's now right on the back of Pierre Delby as they're coming up to the complex for the 9th time. Jack Bonnie, by the way, is taking another almost a second out of Aaron Daly. That gap's down to just over 4 seconds now. I'm knowing Pierre and wanting to just get a good solid result. I don't think he'll fight Aidan too hard. If Aidan gets a good run on him through the complex, or Pierre's just missed his apex there, that might give Aidan the opportunity he needs if they start to run up towards the left-hander of Noble, and then that long right off Goodwood. I still can't believe we're not even halfway through this race yet, but that just shows just how much more action we've had in this race than we had in race 1.
Yeah, I feel like watching this race, race 1 was a bit of a miss-sell, really. It was quite subdued for the most part, but reverse grid never fails to disappoint. And Tim going,
he's
pushing hard
by Aidan Carter. He is not messing about. He wants to get that gap. I mean, Aidan Carter, was he? Where is he? 10 seconds. No, I don't think he'll probably win the race from here, but he probably still think he can maybe get towards a bit close to Bonnie and Christopher. This has allowed Ben Bennyworth to close up, by the way, in 6th place. He's right behind Aidan Carter again, so I think Aidan wants to get through fairly quickly. That time, Jack Bonnie had a poor lap that time, actually. I think he lost a lot of time to chicane. He didn't actually make up any ground in Aaron Daly. The gap's just under 4.5 seconds. As we come through green up to the complex, will Aidan go for a send? No, he won't. Try and force Pierre to compromise his line maybe through the right-hander of Cobb. Sorry, left-hander of Cobb up to the right of Seagrave. Into the second half of the race, so Adam Christopher at the moment will restore his championship lead to 5 points with the current positions on the road. That would come down to 3 if Aidan can get past Pierre. Through Goodwood for the 10th time.
Yeah, I think if Aidan doesn't get through very soon, he's going to have to start looking behind him a touch, as Bennyworth is just sitting there quite patiently, but he's getting ever so closer each time.
Yeah, and Ben will gladly take advantage of any opportunity that comes his way, so
100%.
up Wooden Hill again towards the chicane, towards the end of lap 10. Still another 8 laps to go. Pierre and I working really hard on his consistency, and you might have to be ultimate pace, but being able to keep his head down and churn out lap after lap after lap. Lap times, so Adam Christopher a little bit quicker than Jack Bonnie last time round. There's still over a second between them. Aaron Daly's leads down to 3.8, so he's got nearly half a second a lap in his pocket between now and the end of the race. That's what Jack Bonney would have to close up in order to be able to at least attack on the last lap. This, I think, is as close as Aidan Carter's been to Pierre Delby now. Come up to Noble once again. And I mean, also, I know you don't drive the Porsches, Chris, and obviously it's a bit different with the front wheel drive and the touring cars. Do you find sort of issues in terms of losing grip and overheating if you're stuck behind someone for a long period of time?
You can do, because obviously there's the inherent aero washing off the car in front. Whether, you know, even if it's not massive, it still does make a difference. And plus, being that close on the back of another car around a circuit that requires such precise corner entries, you can easily miss the turn in and then lose all the ground you've worked hard to make up, and you have to do it all over again.
Not quite Jorge Martin nearly running up the back of Pecco at Valencia. I told you we get MotoGP into the
And it was actually a relevant reference as well. I'll let that one slide.
Yeah, it was. I didn't have to try and shoehorn into it mercilessly. So, off to lap 12. Keeping an eye on the gap of the leaders, Jack Bonney took another 9/10 out of Aaron Daly that lap. Aaron's dropped into the 1:14. That gap's down to less than 3 seconds now. So there will be a point. Very robust defending up here. I don't know if that was defending or whether he just wasn't really under control of the car. But we're going very, very slowly through, and that will give Aaron the chance he needs. He's just back down for the last minute. Bennyworth in close attendance.
That's the problem with that complex, because of the nature of it. You can go on the attack and all of a sudden find yourself on the back foot, because now he's got Bennyworth all over him. But he's still pushing to overtake. He's in a sandwich.
So we'll have to keep an eye on what happens with the lead. We're going to have to probably switch our attention to the leaders quite soon, because the gap's down to 2.3 seconds. Now Jack Bonney sniffing a maiden win here. Aaron Daly, I think, is going to be facing a grim battle to the death. He's going to hang on to that. Remember, he was leading this race by almost 8 seconds at one point, but Jack Bonney is on a charge. We're going to keep an eye on those lap times. They're coming up to the line for the end of this lap 12 now. I think the gap is going to come down by another substantial margin. Pierre's gone very, very wide into the chicane, but still just managed to hang on to it. 1:13.7 for Aaron Daly that time, 1:13.2 for Jack Bonney. The gap's 2.4 seconds. I think now Aiden's finally got the gap he's looking for into Allard. It's taken a good 3 or 4 laps, but he's managed to get the job done. He's gone very, very wide. He's just held on to it. I don't think Pierre will fight back. He's not a full send kind of driver. And Aiden gets the job done into 4th, but they've lost so much time with that battling. They're humping over the curves. He's 8 seconds behind Adam Christopher, and I can't see him making up that in 6 laps unless there's a mistake further ahead. Here going a little bit wide out of Seagraves, it comes towards Noble.
Must be Bennyworth getting a sniff now. He's seen the car in front moving all over the road in the last half a lap.
These two have been quite evenly matched through both races so far. So they've both been normally pretty close together on track, so a good sort of internal midfield battle between the pair of them, but we are now paying an increasingly close attention to the gaps with the leaders. That is Jack Bonney in 2nd place, and the gap is now down to about 2 seconds. There is Aaron Daly ahead of him in his gun sights with 5 laps of this race to go. Aaron has 1 win before from the Alpines last year. Jack Bonney, this is his first season. This would be his maiden win if he can get it. He is now up to 3rd in the championship as a result of his podium earlier on. But as we know, Chris, particularly on a track like this where there's only really 2 big braking points, closing up is one thing, and you can see with Aiden last lap getting past very much another.
Yeah, definitely. I think at this point, Aaron would be wise to, as much as it'd be easy to start driving tighter now and looking at being defensive too early, he wants to just keep with his flow of the track, and he doesn't want to start looking in his mirrors until Bonney is pretty much right on him, because you start defending too early, just because you can see it in your mirrors, you'll lose time hand over fist, and then before you know it, you've basically sabotaged yourself.
I mean, this strikes me a bit like Donington. This is such a flowing track and one corner leads to another. If you start trying to defend, you probably end up compromising yourself more further down the line.
Yeah, and I mean, the prime example is that first complex. If he takes a too tight a line into there unnecessarily, he's compromised the next 2 turns, and then through the whole back section of the track, the car behind's got the better run. He just wants to stick to his racing line as best he can, try to ignore what's in his mirrors until he can literally only see Porsche in his mirrors.
Yeah. So 4 laps to go. Daly did a 1:13.6 that time around. Bonnie's time to lead to the track limit, but he's closed the gap to 1.1 seconds. It's fair to say it would have been well into the 112s again. We're having another look at Pierre Delby and Ben Bennyworth, because they are nose to tail. I've got a feeling in a lap's time it's going to be the same for the lead as well. Ooh. Much later on the brakes there, Ben Bennyworth, who was on the outside. He's going to have a podium, and he was third in race 2 at Brands. He has had 1 podium in Porsche so far. He, of course, will be back racing the likes of Chris Wilson in the touring cars later on. That's going to be a cracking meeting in Prospect there, so make sure you stick around for that. I know the man sat next to me has been very, very quick in the testing, and so could well be a factor of them getting his. You haven't had a win this season, have you, Chris?
I have not.
No, because you weren't here at Brands. So, chance for him to get himself back into the champion race. He stayed with the touring cars later on. Yeah, with a bit of gap to play with. I think we need to go back to the leaders, though, because the gap is now less than 1 second. There is Jack Bonney. There is Aaron Daly, not at all. But Adam Christopher's only a second and a half behind. He is on standby to pick up the pieces, as Adam has done so many times in the past. We've got 3 laps left. Lap 16 of 18. Aiden Carter is putting in low 112s. Now he's got clear air, but he's nearly 6 seconds behind Adam Christopher. So I think he's only really going to be on the podium if somebody comes to grief.
I think we're getting into that point now. Daly's got a decision to make, which is just push as hard as he can and hope he can have enough pace to keep Bonnie behind him, or I don't know, Christopher's dropped back a bit further now. I was going to say before clock that gap, try and back him up. If you can get second and third fighting.
It's the worst, 2.5 laps to go. It's the worst point of the race to have to try and make that decision. Even if it's 1.5 laps to go, it's an easier thing to do.
Yeah, I think if he can possibly tell what sort of gap he's got back.
I've got to interrupt you there because he made a mistake through Church. He had a big slide into Church. That might give Bonnie the run he needs up Woodham Hill. Now Aaron will have to go defensive. He's going to hold on to this plate. You can see him move to the right-hand side of the track there. He's going to pass me. He's going to have to go the long way round. Can Aaron get his braking right? Yes, he can. It has sacrificed a little bit of the lead he had, and Jack Bonnie's right behind him, and Adam Christopher closing in as well as they come to the line with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, it's full defence now. Scrap everything I was about to say. He's just got to defend now. It's all he's got in his locker.
Bonnie's had a good run through Allard as well. Again, Daly puts him to go to the outside of the complex. Did he go for the dummy at the inside? No, he can't.
It's well covered.
Aaron covers it very, very well. He's got to have to do that through the chicane, have to do it through the chicane twice, do it through the complex again. Adam Christopher's probably thickly rubbing his hands, thinking I might be able to inherit a win here if these two come to grief. So a lap and a half to go. Through the left of Noble and the long right of Goodwood and Church, and that's where, if either of these cars are having real tyre wear issues, that's where they're going to be found out. You see them both twitching around, trying to move them in, and look how much closer Adam Christopher's getting. This could be 3 for the win yet. Let's not rule anything in or out with this leading trio as they come towards Church for the penultimate time. Aaron made a bit of a mistake last time. He's had an even bigger slide this time. He's going to have to go extremely defensive. Because Jack Bonnie's really going to sense a chance to get all the way around the outside of him into the chicane as they come up Woodham Hill for the penultimate time. And Christopher taking a watching beat. He is still there and in the mix. Aaron, look how defensive he's gone, keeping tight. It's the right thing to do. He's locked up. Very defensive. He's going to go full trolley tray. Jack Bonnie almost running out the back of him. Aaron does manage to cover the inside line as they come across the line to start the last lap. Very defensive by Aaron, but all fair so far. Bonnie's been forced wide, trying to go all around the outside into green, and that's brought Adam Christopher into play. Christopher might fancy his chance of getting second here. Oh, Bonnie came right across him. Right across him, was almost going for a full send on. There's been contact, they've both been forced wide. He's going to allow Adam Christopher to get the position. No, he's had to back out of it. It's 3 of them, they're all going about half racing speed, and somehow Aaron Daly has held onto the lead. With a half a lap to go, he's gone wide coming out of Seagrave into Noble. Does Jack Bonnie fancy on the inside? There's not really much for braking room. He's had to back out of it in the last minute. What a last lap. Goodwood, Noble, Woodham Hill chicane. Goodwood Church, Woodham Hill chicane to go. Goodness me, it's Daly. It's Bonnie, it's Christopher. Adam Christopher thinking, well, I might still be able to get second here as they come up to Church for the last time. Can't wait to hit the roar from Aaron. Hang on to win this race. And he's always just got it turned into Church. There's been contact there, and Daly gone off into the wall. And it's going to be side by side between Bonnie and Christopher. I think Adam Christopher's going to get the win out of this. I can't believe it. Up the hill. He got the better run because Bonnie had to come out. It's just accidental contact through Church. Can Adam Christopher get it stopped at the chicane for his second win of the season and to get his championship lead back up to 6.8, and Carter's right behind him in third. And I think Christopher's just going to hold on to the line. Adam Christopher wins race 2 from Bonnie and Carter. And Pierre... Oh, dearie me. Pierre Delby's going to hold off Bennyworth. Delby's going to get 4th here. Best ever result for him. Bennyworth 5th. Aaron Daly, who led almost the entire race until Church last up, ends up 6th. Then it's another 35 seconds back to his brother in 7th. Then DeMarco, Hudson and Neil Harris a lap down. What a last lap.
Well, I'll tell you what I will say, Dan, from the angle we saw, the 2 laps previously, Daly had been so loose through that turn.
Yeah.
He'd gone overly cautious to not
It was
run his car wide.
It was noticeably tighter.
But by being that overly cautious, he's caught Bonnie out on the speed difference, and I think that's where your contact happened.
Yeah. Well, I imagine there will be maybe a few things the stewards will be looking at just in case. I think certainly no doubt about the winner because he wasn't involved in any collisions at all. Adam Cribb gets his 2nd win. I guess it's going to come down to any penalty for Bonnie and whether Aidan Carter may inherit 2nd or not. It's something the stewards will have a look at. Once those decisions have been made, we will be back with you for the podium ceremony. It's Adam Christopher from Jack Bonnie, Aidan Carter. This is the contact between the two at the complex on the last lap. And Adam Christopher just couldn't take advantage. He's found himself a wall full of Porsches, nowhere to go. And we'll stay on sort of Jack Bonnie's on board now. This is following round on the last lap. Didn't quite be able to get alongside into Noble. It's barely a breaking point at all there. Probably just a little bit of a lift. And all the way around Goodwood. And then, yeah, as you see, as Chris mentioned there a moment ago, you'll see that compared to the last 2 laps, Aaron Daly a lot tighter, so desperate to get a good run out of Church up the hill. Watching Aaron Daly ahead here, you can say, well,
Look
yeah,
how hard he's braked.
Oh, he's braked very, very hard. You wouldn't really brake that much, and yeah, really, really tightened up there. And that's not an easy one to call. I'm glad I'm not bloody in the school to make that decision. So Adam Christopher, no doubt your winner. Who's going to be behind him, we're not too sure. Stay with us. Once those decisions are made in a few minutes' time, we'll have our podium ceremony for those 2 races, and we'll speak to all the top drivers from the 2 Porsche races after an end of a thrilling race 2. But Adam Christopher, your winner for the 2nd time this season, and at least to some extent, he retains his championship lead. to Thruxton at the end of some thrilling Porsche Challenge action at the end of the day. We've got our podium finishes here, so we'll start by speaking to Aidan Carter first and a third. So 35 points today, although you're still 6 points behind Adam as you were before you came in this morning. So you got 100% record in race 1s this season, but you haven't won a race 2 yet.
No.
Can you describe race 2 from your perspective? Because like everyone else, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. First few laps of the race were very standard, kind of just waiting for people to make mistakes and just picking up incidents where I could. But yeah, got to about, I think it was about that 5. I made a move on Jack and then tried to make a move in the first corner on Connor and just didn't commit to the move enough. And then by the time I backed out, it was already too late. Ran into the back of him and spun. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, 3 out of 3 now for race 2 is where something's gone wrong and I've not been able to maximise the result. So yeah, that's what's let me down.
All right, thanks, Rob. Sorry about that, Aidan. I'm going to lead you with this wire along like a bloody sheep. I mean, obviously, you race pace, you were the fastest driver throughout the meeting and everything. You had, particularly during the race, 112s, even higher 111s, pretty much at will. Was it harder than it looked? Because I know these are not easy cars to drive, and it's not an easy track.
Yeah, it's definitely very hard. Yeah, it was a very difficult race. I think the first race, after the first maybe 5 or 6 laps, it kind of became a bit easier. Jack and Adam were having their own fight, so I had a gap where I could back off and not push too much, which was fine. But yeah, the second race was very difficult. Fighting with other cars, you're very much on edge with the Porsche all the time around Thruxton. You can't be, if you're too cautious, you're understeering and you're slow, but if you're too fast, you're going to spin immediately. So yeah, it was really difficult. It's a knife edge around Thruxton.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, Aidan. I'm sure we'll speak to you
very
later
much.
on when we've got touring cars, because Aidan will be back with us in the BMW. We know he's very quick in testing, so I'm sure we'll see Aidan later on. So I'll bring Adam over here. I was saying to you just before we got the mics out and everything that you must have been sat there at the start of the last lap in third place, seeing Jack and Aaron ahead of you, going, rubber bands at this one, might get a result, and that's exactly what happened.
Yes, exactly what happened, because I was outscoring Aidan anyway. So I was actually quite happy just to sit there and just see. I thought something might happen, because I thought Jack was going to try and go for the win. And I was happy to just collect the points, but if something happened, I was going to pick up the pieces, and that's what happened in the end.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not quite having Aidan's pace this weekend, so a first and a third, same points, still 6 points ahead in the championship. You're probably delighted with that in the circumstances.
Delighted. I mean, I'll be honest, Jack had more pace than me this weekend. I think I just got a bit lucky in quali, because I couldn't keep up with him in either race either. So, yeah, that was a bit of a touch in the third race, because I even had a moment early on, dropped to the back. I think it was a lap later, I then saw Aidan facing the wrong way. So I was thinking, right, there we go, I can now gain some points on him. But yeah, didn't quite have the outright pace today, I don't think, but still been able to match Aidan and not lose any points.
Like you said about Colin Turkington, championships one of your bad days.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about consistency. A podium in every race, I think, so far now.
No, yes, you have, yeah.
Every race.
Yes, you have.
Good. You just need to keep that going all the time now.
That's
yeah,
great.
It's good.
Adam, thank you very much. Have a
Thank
lovely
you.
Christmas, and I'm
You
sure we'll
too.
see you at the next round in January. Now, let's speak to Jack Bonney, who looked like he might get his first win. He's had 2 very hard-earned seconds today. Bear in mind, you were 8 seconds behind at one point, catching Aaron. Well, I will speak to Aaron in a moment. I bet you thought you had him.
Yeah, it was very close. It was a good battle until the last couple of corners, and then it just didn't end the way we wanted it to. Just want to congratulate Adam and Aidan for a good result. 1 point in it over the top 3, so good result.
Yeah, I mean, it's not... I mean, like I know you told me you had lots of trouble with your tyres in race 1.
Yeah.
How hard was it to manage that in race 2 and obviously chase Aaron down at the same time because of the size of the lead that he had?
Yeah, I think it was... tyre wear was a lot better, surprisingly, fighting through. I was able to push a lot more the last couple of laps. So yeah, pretty good.
Given the results obviously getting better that you've had so far, and do you feel a lot more comfortable in the car now than you did, say, at the start of the season? You're feeling more used to it?
Yeah, it's definitely coming to me a lot more, and yeah, feeling a lot more comfortable with the car and able to push it a little bit more, take a little bit more risks, and try and get that 1 race win.
Brilliant. I'm sure it's coming both sooner rather than later. Thank you very much, Jack, and have a lovely Christmas. And we've got to speak to Aaron as well. Come on, you. Nearly got your... Well, it was this time last year at Croft that you got your reverse grid win in the Alpines, and you led 17 out of 18 laps of this race. You led 17 and a half. So just talk to your mindset, or going back to mid-race, you were 8 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
You can obviously see Jack's times and see who's catching you up.
Yeah.
What was your game plan going into the last few laps?
Well,
if any?
I saw at the start I was pulling away from Connor, and he was doing an incredibly good job of holding everybody up. It's just that I just thought if these faster drivers, because they are faster, get in front, I hope I can have a big enough gap to they don't catch up, and if they do, just prey on the fact that this track is a really hard track to overtake on.
Yeah.
And then just not mess up, and I managed to do that until right at the end.
Church on the last lap.
Yeah.
Was it just panicking a little bit, or just going a little bit too defensive because you've been really loose into that corner both of the laps before?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a don't want to spin it, a little bit of the fact that I'm just a bit tired. It's been 2 long races. These cars are hard to drive. It does take something out of you. You're a little bit tired coming to the end of the third one. Just made the one mishap in judgment, and it cost me.
More importantly, though, have you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, I enjoyed.
He's nodding for those who can't see it.
I enjoyed everything but the first lap of race 1 and everything but the last lap of race 2.
Everything in the middle was fine.
Everything in the middle was fine.
The middle 98%. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Adam. You have a lovely Christmas as well.
Yes.
We'll be back for our next round in the new year.
Thank you very much.
And that wraps up everything for the Porsches. Please do stay with us. We'll be back later on, a little bit later on this afternoon, for round 7, 8 and 9 of the Simply Race Touring Car Championship. Aidan Carter, Chris Wilson and Lewis Manley likely to set the pace. Make sure you're with us for that a little bit later on.